I'm sleeping weird sleeping patterns. Let's just put it that way. I'm getting all my material together now. Oh, I usually come on about like, I don't know, like 7 o'clock. But work's been kicking my butt, so it is what it is, I guess. But I'm here and I'm gonna work on. I got my cards. If anybody comes in for a reading, I'm gonna work on this blanket here. My friend's activated her Facebook again. She's back from depression, I'm hoping. So I'll work on her baby blanket again. So, and that'll be my agenda today. Work on the baby blanket and see how many of you guys are like. I guess that's what's today's agenda is. But I negotiated a ride, so since my brother's leaving on vacation, to get to work Monday and Tuesday, I'm gonna start investing in probably a bike or something, just for these emergencies. I'm just so tired of life sometimes. It's so exhausting. You never know which end it's getting you on. Even even a person like me can have lots of problems. That's how life and karma is. But I try to always stay on the good end of things, or at least not aggravate one end to where it's bothering me. Sometimes I end up with karma that's kind of mixed. Sometimes I have mixed karma. That happens. Or I didn't do anything bad, but I didn't do anything extremely good at the same time. That's what I like to call it. I usually always have mixed karma. But hopefully soon I can get me another job because this one's killing me. Or maybe an agreement will come in before I go to leave, like I always do. They'll won't accept my 2 week notice, which they never do, and they tell me I'm not leaving every day that I work. I had a really nice 2 week. I actually gave a month notice, so I don't know. We'll see how this goes. I'll probably be having this conversation with you as they give me another raise. And I'm hoping at some point in my life that I get enough money with all my. If I didn't have to have so many dental payments, I'd probably be better off. But hopefully, after this, I can probably just get a car. I don't know. We'll see where life brings me. Life has just been one big mystery. Who knew that I was gonna actually be here? Who knew I was gonna. People on Facebook would find me interesting. Who just knew in life? So I'm over here. I just woke up not too long ago, too. I really did, and it's been exhausting. But I was trying not to come out too late because it seems like I get the crowd of 40 and 50-year-olds. Sometimes I get some people younger. Some people. Sometimes I don't. I guess it just depends, really. Honestly, I just play it like fishing. I mean, I don't. I don't really sing or dance or do anything significant besides having different kinds of thoughts in the world, besides writing. But that alone is going to take Brain to fix giving me this computer and finding time from his big job to come and deliver it to me. Because I'm trying to save up for other stuff and I'm not trying to buy a MacBook. I'm just not trying to. I mean, if I get some from my son, it's usually dirt cheap or free. So since he's volunteering, all right, I don't even know what that ding was. My phone be doing all kinds of stuff. I get all these crazy stuff from Snapchat all the time. I'm afraid to open up half of them because sometimes they be sending you pictures of their body parts. I'm okay with that. But I guess today karma's not horrible for me, but I guess life is pushing me towards another goal. And this happens all through your life, it never ends. I guess when I was younger, I was meant to do more medical and take care of my family. And now that I'm older, this is what I'm meant to do. Oh, hi. How are you doing? You must be a night dweller. I have a sleep. I sometimes have really weird sleeping patterns. So I could be up like towards the middle of nighttime, and sometimes I sleep half of the day on my days off. Sometimes I think I was, oh, I'm good. I really am. I'm good. Sometimes I think I have the sleeping patterns of a vampire, and I don't really do it on purpose. I just look at the light of day, and I'm like, oh, I just don't like it sometimes. A bright sunny day makes me want to just gouge my eyes out. My friends always tell me I'm like Wednesday on the Addams Family. Nothing wrong with it. Yeah, you're a night dweller too. I used to work a lot of night shift when I was a little younger, when my kids were younger. For like 10 years I was a night shifter. You too. You're a night shifter. I went to day shift eventually, but I've been on night shift for like 10 years and I just still can stay up all half of the night and I could switch up because I did swing shifts a lot when I was younger too. And then through COVID, they just had me work every which way. They used me into the point where I couldn't barely sleep. So I've just been taking my days off since COVID's done and enjoying myself because it was horrible. We worked 24 hours on and 72 off. Wow. I guess you got outdo me. I thought I was bad. They are you medical too? Because they love to abuse medical workers a lot. I get tired of it. I get tired of them bothering you. It's just they always want fire rescue. Wow, that's very I guess that's kind of dangerous. I don't know. So I don't know. I don't think I have it in me to be a hero. I give it up to you guys. I'm not. I'm not hero material. I wish I was. I come from a line of heroes. An interesting fact. But I'm Not a hero. I believe in good things, but I'm still not a hero all the same. But I would find a hero to help somebody. You're you're on shift now, laying in bed looking through your love streams. Oh. I wish I could be on working and be able to be on my phone without somebody yelling my name. Oh, live streams. Okay. Well, I'm just saying, at my work, they bother me to the day and I come in there to them and I leave. You're lucky. I don't know. Maybe I should start to take the danger and become a fire rescue person. I don't know anymore. But book writing seems to be in my blood, so I cannot wait till my son gets off his ass, finishes my taxes, and brings that. Oh, I'd love it. I probably would, but then I don't know how athletic I am. I can't jog. I've tried jogging and I get exhausted. And this was when I was younger. So I was always interested in parents used to bring me home books on 20 questions for the writer. This is what I grew up with. And my dad was in the military. And then my grandpa was in the military. And then my son also. So I guess you could see the pattern. They're very strict people. And they want to do very heroic things all the time. And then there I was. Start slow, work steady every day at a regular pace for at least 20 minutes. That's 20 minutes of hell right there. That's really a lot. I give it up to you guys about that exercise. I just kind of. All right, Chong. Chong, no, you can't come on the couch. You're so big. How you gonna fit on here? Everything will fall on the floor. He still thinks he's a little baby. Oh, I'm sure I could, but then that would give me a lot of. I'm not sure how healthy I want to be these days. Every time I get unhealthy, they put me on all these pills and make me back to where I need to be. The doctors drive me nuts. I think they're trying to kill me. They gave me some medicine. It was on for 3 weeks. And I swear to God, they made my insides like I was a kid. Yeah, no. I ended up, I'm 50 years old. They gave me medicine once when I was 6, said that it would take me 20 years back. I flatlined twice. And I think that's when the psychic or the mystic thing popped in. Because once you're dead and you come back, it seems to amplify things. And I was real sick and I was in ICU and I flatlined twice and I seen my mom. And honestly, when I seen my mom after I flatlined, I didn't want to come back. She had actually convinced me why I should come back. And it happened twice. And ever since ICU, it's been really weird. After ICU, you could see, I don't know, I started seeing more numbers, more emotions, more events and things like that, and some things I couldn't make any sense out of, and sometimes it only used to only apply to one person, but it was always someone I didn't know. It was weird. And then when I go to work all the time, sometimes No, I might have. No, I didn't have a heart attack. I ate I ate a steak from a restaurant and I liked rare meat and they cooked it too rare. And I had an intestinal worm parasite. I had a parasite of some sort and they couldn't identify the parasite from the meat. And it was eating me alive literally from the inside out. So my son, he was in the Navy, so he came up and I told him I was fine. I wouldn't go to hospital and he picked me up and told me I was going. And I told him I was fine, but I barely could walk. And he put me over his shoulder and brought me down the stairs and told me I was going to the damn hospital. Then I told him I was signing myself out of the hospital. He waited there and he said he was called the police. And then I had three security guards there that escorted me to ICU. And they had all these IVs I couldn't eat for like 2 weeks. So thank God I was always had a little weight on me. Because when I got out of ICU, I was a size 6. And they said if I didn't have any weight on me, I probably it would have been an issue if I was too skinny. But yeah, ever since, and then with, I guess, the medicine, and I do have a functional heart murmur, they call it, because I flatlined and came back twice. Because instead of going thump, 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 it goes thump, thump, swoosh. No, it's supposed to go thump, 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 and then mine goes thump, thump, swoosh. But that happens when anybody flatlines. Because your heart has to restart, and they had to restart twice, so. But I'm okay. And then 3 weeks, and then when I do like, I did get one infection, and they gave me this like super drug, and I swear to God, it brought me back to when I was a kid, like a teenager type thing. It's crazy. I'm sure it does, but I don't worry about death because obviously they don't want me. And I think the only reason I came back was to help people. And I don't know how the hell I'm going to help people when I'm always at work or trying to sleep. So maybe this is the way I'm supposed to help people. Because when you come back from the dead, sometimes you always come back different. I came back with seeing both sides. Yeah, it doesn't bother me. It really doesn't. I just don't. I can never take any kind of street drugs ever, which I don't. I never did before this, but if I was to take cocaine or something, I'd probably die. The only thing I take is medical marijuana from the dispensary, and I won't smoke anybody else's stuff because if I get a hold of crack or anything of the sort, and even just do it a couple times, I'll die. And I'm okay with that. So that's the only thing they said. It's anything that would bother me. So, and I've never been a drug user. So, and it took a lot to get my medical card. No, I know. I didn't smoke weed for when I was married the first time for over 10 years. I probably should have, having anxiety and everything, but back then it wasn't legal. And if you had kids and even if you had anxiety, you couldn't do it. So I used to exercise a lot and try to keep myself occupied. And I started like knitting and doing things like that. But back then, if you were caught with any kind of weed at all, they put you in jail for like 10, 15 years. They put sometimes in prison. Uh, I want to say my mom's death when I was in my 20s. It was a really crazy day. I was my oldest son was only like 3 months old, and he was in his playpen, and I was gonna change him and stuff, and my mom's on the toilet, and her heart. They said she had a real bad aneurysm, and her heart exploded, and she was on the toilet. And I was trying to help her, and I just couldn't. And it was at that time I didn't do medical for like 10 years. I mean, I took a long break. I would work long enough to keep my license, but I figured if I couldn't save my own mother, what was the point? So I guess that triggers my anxiety, and that's one reason I don't want to be a nurse. I just I don't want to have to deal with all that resuscitation stuff. When you're a nurse's aide, you don't have to worry about none of that kind of stuff, which is really nice because I could just go in there, take care of the patients, even help the nurse, and generally I know most of the procedures anyway, so it's not hard. But in the same token, I don't want to be there when all hell's breaking loose. They go down like a herd of buffalo, trying to go to one area because someone's dying, and and I tell everybody, I just yell out, I think they're dead, and they bring them back. And I don't know if I could be a part of that team. Uh, Not really. I used to be like real suicidal when I was 16. I used to have to see a psychiatrist. They used to want to put me on a lot of psych meds and stuff like that. And then when I got older, they wanted to put me on lithium and stuff like that. So I had to keep busy a lot because I couldn't smoke weed, and some of the medicine they gave me just was real strong when I was a kid. It was bad. Some psychiatrists are good, some psychiatrists are. Would you go? But some psychiatrists are good, some psychiatrists are, I don't know, they're just not very beneficial. What do you think? I believe that, well, being dead was not bad at all. It's just another beginning death. I never actually died till I was an adult, though. But dying's not bad. I didn't feel any pain when I was dying. And at the point, if you don't have a lot of obligations in your life and stuff, you're not going to live forever. So, to me, I mean, I was very just not feeling right about my life, but my mom had me on some couple things when I was younger. When I got older, I was able to wean off of them, but now I just do the medical marijuana. I find it better than being on there. Probably. I do blame a lot of stuff about my mom's death on myself. I always did. That's why and I guess it's easier when you're writing because you can just bring yourself to like a different plane of existence and let all your feelings out. It's a lot better and easier. It's the one outlet you could do to bring it all out, and you can portray it in a different light if you wanted to. So, and I guess writing always did that for me, but I always liked horror for some reason. Even as a young child, H.P. Lovecraft, I was always watching stuff from him. It was great. No, she died from an aneurysm. It was rolling around her body when they did the autopsy, and it was a blood clot that was moving around her body. And by the time I got to her heart, it just exploded. It was, I mean, it didn't go in pieces like an A bomb, but it just shut down because the blood clot went to my mom's heart and it just restricted flow and it just stopped eventually. She died really quick. Ended up having to watch her die. That probably messed me up at a young age because she was actually just dying. I was 18 I just came out of high school when she died. It was rough taking my final exams. Somehow I got through my final exams and I was okay, but it was rough. But I survived it and got a decent grade. Oh, the emergency room. That was just them. I mean, if I died, I died at that point. I didn't even where I've been in emergency room. It actually had nothing to do about me killing myself because I realized when I was younger, after I had my younger child, I had to live. So it was always stupid things that happened to me. That they find medicine to make me better. That makes it better all the time. I mean, this was experimental shit they gave me because they didn't even know how to get rid of the pest that was eating me alive. They didn't ever even see this kind of thing. I guess I was lucky to live. And this is how God always does it. I'll get myself in a really bad bind and I had nothing to do with anything to bring me into that situation, but I'll get this medicine out of nowhere. And all of a sudden I just get super healthy again. So this is why I believe I'm supposed to either be getting my book out there. I'm not an inspirational writer. I have lived a lot of grief and seen a lot of death. Maybe I'm meant to bring perspective into what true death is. And I believe true death is when you are not remembered. Because I do believe that you can believe that you're not born again. I don't. I believe when we die, we're going in another body. I believe some people, I believe in walk ins. My mother always said she was a walk in. And sometimes your soul, when I do believe maybe something walked in my soul with me so I can come back. But my mom was real sick like that, and she was a walk in also. So I believe sometimes this happens because there's a lot of people that talk about it and they're not crazy. And these are the people you got to listen to when you want to get the actual truth about things. And some people don't listen to these people, and I don't understand why. I think if someone really has something to say and and they experience something you never could experience, and there's a lot of them. I met a patient that was there when Hitler was doing his presidential address. And she was showing me pictures of Hitler and all this stuff, but Sometimes we're meant to be alive for a certain event, sometimes we're not. But I do believe sometimes we walk in on bodies, sometimes we're born into them. I think it's, in my perspective, not digging too deep and all those confusing words that pretty much all of astrology has. I just think you either, if you're lucky to walk into a healthy body, you do that, but you have all their memories and everything. You just feel different afterwards. It really doesn't change you, it just makes you feel different. It's like you were confused about all these things before you died, and then you wake up and you're not confused no more. It's like you became some wise old woman, and you look at yourself in the mirror and you're not a wise old woman, and it's weird. And a lot of people that have came died and came back really shared the same affliction. Stephen King used to write about it with when he would like describe certain characters that came back from the dead. And I guess sometimes when you do come back, everyone's always a little different. It's always in all the events of days past, past after that event. Sometimes you get flickers of stuff. And sometimes you're meant to come back for a reason. It's either, even if you do try to kill yourself, if you're not meant to die, somehow you come back. I did realize that from just having that thing inside my stomach that was supposed to kill me. If the universe wants you dead, you'd be dead. And if the universe doesn't want you dead, you're just going to keep coming back one way or another. And I don't think I'm meant to be dead. So I figured, I finished out my book like 5 years ago. I just got to get this whole thing set up on Amazon. It's going to be a pain in the ass. And I got to figure out how much money I got to give them and stuff. Well, this is true, but maybe like when they're doing the paddle and you're in the in between, maybe that's where it jiggles it. There has to be something to it. There's been other people besides me that have had the same affliction when they're going through the paddles and they're in the in between place. When you're in that in between place right before death and you're almost dying, I don't know if it's the medicine they're giving you or whatever it is. You wake up and you feel different all the time. And you get some kind of you get an awareness you had before you were dead. It's weird. I mean, there's just a lot of things that I realized afterwards that I didn't have a lot of people around me to come to these realizations. It just kind of came to me, and I just seen things. And I don't do drugs, so I've always tried to stay away from people that were on any kind of hard drugs. And if there was any drugs around, I made sure that I wasn't near them. And the people that had them were away and far away from me. I've always made that because if I'm going to die, I want to die a good way. I want to die in my sleep. That would be really good. I think dying in your sleep, I've seen that a lot of times. Just one lady, it was the best death ever. She was, God, she was like 105. And she asked me about bacon. So I don't really eat meat that much because I used to be vegetarian and I eat a little bit here and there, but I don't like to. So I brought her all this bacon, and she's 105 years old, chowing down all this bacon, and she had a good meal. And then it came around, I don't know, around lunchtime or something like that. We came by and I gave her her lunch tray. She asked me for her rosary. I said, okay, I'm Catholic, I got it. So I go ahead and I did that. I gave her her rosary, and then I picked up trays. And some told me to go to her room and check her first. I know, and then next thing I know, she was dead. She literally died praying. And the nurse was flipping out, and I go, she was alive. I gave her bacon. They were like, did she choke? I was like, no, she was talking to everybody. Nurse went and gave her her medicine and everything. It was like she knew she was dying, and I'm really glad I gave her all that damn bacon because she said she really loved bacon. But yeah, this was the best death ever. It really was. I don't know. I would have to say sudden death would be okay, or dying in your sleep. Those would be my two options. We don't remember when we're born, but maybe if you're unconscious enough and all that, and maybe you don't really remember your death, but I think I would rather have it a clean death if I'm going to have a death. I can't say that. Sometimes. Sometimes I like life, sometimes I don't like life. Sometimes just seeing both sides, and one side seems less drama filled. I wish people in life would be more polite and not try to destroy so much. I mean, I don't know. I guess I liked life when I was younger. I like life at times, and then I don't like the shitty people in it. I really don't. I don't like the way people live. I don't like the fact that the people have to live in poverty all the time. I don't know why we can't be more of a utopian society. Why is it so important to spend a lot of money on your clothes when people are on the street literally starving and dying? That's what I don't get. I just go through my wardrobe every day, whatever matches, and I put it together. That's it. I'm not worried about spending $100,000 on a wardrobe. I'd rather help somebody not go through torture. And sometimes I look on the world and it's not a very good place at a lot of times. And this human trafficking really bothers me. We did trading with Africa and has this whole problem with racism. We get through this, and now they just take anybody. They went from a specific skin color to they'll just enslave anybody, and I think it's some of the worst things out there. And world life is scary. You could be out on the sidewalk one day, and then someone's gonna come by and make you a sex slave or something. With the life itself. Well, maybe that's it. Maybe I would like life better if there was a little more nice people in it. Angel, go over there. I mean, people are horrible to animals, and it doesn't need to be this way. If people were a little less greedy, but just splurged once in a while, and and the whole capitalism attitude about you want to be a billionaire, but I'm going to watch thousands of people suffer under my wrath. I mean, I don't. The Egyptians were buried with all their money, but their money never left them that tomb. So that should be living proof that money you cannot take in death. But everybody is worried about their money, their money, their money. They have to actually pass a law, and this really blows my mind, that they can't do higher pet fees on places because people are getting kicked out of their apartments and animals were being euthanized because people literally could not afford them. Because some places were charging like $200-300 or more in pet fees, along with rent going up. And there was, I think, they were with the pit bulls and other dogs that were going around they couldn't, that got kicked out because of pet fees. It was over 100,000 dogs, and I guess the government stepping in and they're making some kind of law that they can't charge for pet fees and they'll give them a tax break. They'll pay the pet fees on, but it'll be when they do their taxes. But it took the government to make people a little nicer over here in America because people were so greedy. They were making the family pet go outside the apartment and bye bye. And there's not enough people that can afford to have dogs as it is. So these dogs were just, they mean they weren't like shot in the head. I mean they gave them the shot to euthanize them, but still 100,000 of these because of pet fees, and they got to make a law about it. I mean, what's wrong with people? Who would want to be responsible for 100,000 good dogs going down? I mean, I people say that horror books talking about murder is a horrible act. What about that? What do you think man-made government was? Well, I guess everybody has to step in and do something, but the thing is if everyone was a little nicer, the government would be a little nicer. But the people are 80% of the people are not nice and deceitful in the world itself. So if you figure you got percentages of only 20% actual, real, true, nice people that don't have a lot of bad things, that they just rather watch people die and have some expensive, you're probably figuring 20% of those are priests, parishioners. That would be your holy group of the world. So I mean, I'm just hoping that somebody, I'm not saying I want everyone to be holy rollers. That I'm not saying that at all. I'm not promoting church or disclaiming church. I'm just saying that's the path some people want. But at least it's a positive path. And that's the thing. That's the main thing. But I do think that if there was a positive person that wasn't so damn greedy with some people that weren't as greedy behind them, I think we'd all have a better time. I mean, there won't be a lot of dogs being euthanized no more because the government stepped in for a tax break. So pretty soon here, no one will have pet fees. But it's only for the places that allow animals, which is fair enough. So maybe more apartments will allow animals. I mean, who knows? If you're already getting a tax break about it, at least humans and animals can coexist again. I mean, there has to be some kind of happy medium in the world. I wouldn't mind a happy movement somewhere where people just kind of came together and all this damn slavery stopped. I mean, we talk about slaves and we don't do slavery. Yes, we do. Human trafficking. A 16-year-old girl being shoved in a van did not go there on their own. And then to sit there and be drugged and abused and raped, they didn't ask for that either. So that's enslavement. I call it slave trading. Anybody else can call whatever they want, but I'm literally calling this slave trading. And I don't care. And it does bother me that these events go on in the world because it goes on worldwide, and then you have all this mafia business. I don't understand why and even the gang business. I'm not even trying to target one group of people. I'm just saying all these people that are in that business, like the mafia, the gangs are the same thing. They're just the mafia is the higher end. You have all these people doing all these horrible acts all the time because they're trying to get revenge, revenge, revenge. There's revenge to a certain point. There really is. Because if you get revenge on somebody's grandmother or whatever by killing this person or that person, and that person gets revenge, it's a circle that never ends. And these circles will never end. And I'm hoping before I die, a couple of these circles close up. And I understand there's going to be bad things in the world, but it doesn't have to be, I guess, this bad. And I don't know where all these methamphetamines and things are coming in, but it doesn't help people's intellectual minds. That's the thing. I couldn't have a conscious thought in my head if I was doped up on any of that. I don't, I mean, I don't know how anybody does it. And I wish there was an answer to that too. But we have so many important issues in the world, and everybody sometimes focuses on this stuff that's not even that important. Because I guess I would like it better tomorrow. If I went through more schooling, I probably would have been a politician or something. Because I do see better pathways, and it's so easy for us to have a better world if we follow different paths. And I see it. I see it because, just from being unconscious or being unconscious and sick, whatever you want to call it, I got a little more intuitive in the world, and I've always felt this way before that. And then living with, I mean, I know I'm not crazy because they've tested me. I make this joke, but it's absolutely true. When you've been through psychiatric treatment, you know if you're crazy or not crazy. And they say that depression is technically, I guess, a psychiatric condition, but it's not like some of them out there. It's not like you're crazy, crazy. You can still be functional. You could still have a job. You could still be a nurse. You could still be a doctor. It's not even that big of a deal. But so if you're bipolar and got all kinds of other stuff, then you're real messed up because your you gotta take all these cocktails of pills every day. But sometimes you gotta be able to check your own self. They have opinions on a greater world. I've actually found that out in life. And maybe this is my thing because I wonder about all these things. I wonder about things that people usually forget about all the time. And maybe it's because I'm getting older too. I don't know. All I know is your whole life you spend raising children, telling them it's going to be better, being hopeful, and then in the end sometimes they find out how horrible it is and they draw a victim to all this stuff and there's no answers. Does I wonder? Oh well, that's good. I'm glad. No, I got a sanity check today. Oh, okay, good. I wonder if I'm crazy sometimes. Sometimes when you occasionally see dead people, you think you are crazy. I have thought I was crazy a lot of times. There's sometimes, especially around, like, for some reason, it's Halloween, and that's a given, but Halloween and surprisingly Easter. You see a lot of you see a lot of spirits on those days. It's always Easter. I don't know if it's because it's Easter, besides the Christian holiday of Easter, in ancient times, that's always been a time of renewal. And they always said it was a renewal of souls and prophecies. And prophecies and those things, it's not like a big epic sci fi movie. It could be a prophecy of just kind of like your grandmother was going to come back and see you, just stupid stuff. And you see a lot of this through Easter. And they always say, and I'm Catholic saying this, so they can't, but do see images. Sometimes the energy I guess from what my one friend was telling me. Sometimes I just hear them in my head. I don't always see them, but I can see images they send and things like that. And sometimes I just think it's intuition, and sometimes when I say things, it actually is helpful and makes sense, and sometimes it doesn't. Well, if they are my thoughts, then they're pretty good thoughts. I mean, these I'm speaking are my thoughts, but when I'm actually do reading, I actually try to just focus in and I'd actually hear my mom's voice. It's mostly my mom that I hear when I'm doing my cards. To try to focus on to hear other people's heart. But she was a way better spiritualist than me. She really was. She had friends that then they would be channeling people all the time, and she was much better at this than me. She couldn't do palm reading and stuff like that, but she used to see blue healing lights and all kinds of things like that. I want to say she wasn't very good with detail and things, but when it came to like healing and different things, she rocked the top of the list. So when I do see them, it's in my head, and it's usually like somebody sending you a picture almost. And then, I mean, obviously, because they're dead, and I'm not crazy enough to think I am dead if I'm literally living and I bleed. So, because that would be crazy. Even though I'm a horror writer and I do enjoy a good horror story, doesn't mean I believe in all of that. I just like the stories. Alright. Alright. Well, sometimes I can like pick up when they're around. It's usually like a lot of times it'll be flashes of somebody that looks a little different from my surroundings, but I'm really good at blocking things. If I'm doing one thing, I block it, and I'll see just a flash sometimes. It's almost like they're going in those movies. It reminds me of when they're going through different dimensions. And sometimes I wonder if it's people from, because they say that the most intuitive people with all this time travel, with all this stuff going on with space and stuff, they're saying that sometimes there's people that step in and out of different time portholes. I've been keeping up with this telescope and all their new theories, and these are scientists saying this with the quantum theory and everything, and they're saying that they're with these ley lines that sometimes these things pop in and out, and they said sometimes things that when like images of the past and present can come through these, and they say that since we're electric currents, and we are, that's why lightning will strike you, because we have a lot of electric in us. I mean, it's just a fact. It's nothing bad. Oh, hi. But when these electric currents go around, they say with quantum physics and everything, sometimes you can see pieces of the immediate future of if you're on a certain path. And that's why they say if you see it, it's if you're on a certain path, you can see them. And then sometimes the circumstance can change, but they say it's down to science. So you could say spirits, or you can just say images from the past and present, because that's what science will tell you. And I'm thinking maybe because through science, they say some people can, their brains, when at born, the scientists are saying that certain people, would you stop, Chong? I'm not playing ball with you. Go. Go. Why does it have to be like moving a football player with you? Go. But the scientists are saying, honestly, would you please stop? Well, that's what the scientists are saying, and I kind of believe what they're saying. And maybe there's something that was overdeveloped in my brain or something, because they said some people have different portions of their brain that are more developed and they can see flashes. But they said they're saying with these multi universe things, and there's a lot of top dogs out there believing in this multi universe. And people you would never believe in it are now believing in it. And it's all over YouTube. And they talk about these universes, and you're seeing flashes, and certain people, they say, are with different exposure to different chemicals and stuff. It gets in our brain, and some people can see them more. So I guess, I mean, that's the most I could say on that. But I want to say, I say spirits, but science says not spirits. But I mean, it could be I'm just seeing flashes of all this quantum mechanics stuff going around, and string theory, because string theory is, they're going wild over string theory, wild over it. You think it's Satan? I thought it was string theory. I don't know. They're saying that people that are seeing there is actual people that are seeing this all over the world. It's not just me. That's why I got checked by a doctor. I wanted to make sure. They was saying that you can ingest certain chemicals and certain things are going on and you see flashes sometimes. And sometimes the flashes are right. Sometimes they can go one way or another. So I don't know, quantum jumpers. That's what the one scientist is saying. Maybe they are quantum jumpers out there. Those black holes look pretty damn scary. That's all I know. They got a damn wormhole in the universe and they suck through other universes. I'm not trying to mess with one of those things. And when I was plotting and looking at all the black holes they were having, we had 50 black holes around this Earth the time the moon went over the sun. It was nothing close to a damn miracle that we didn't get sucked up into it. With that many black holes surrounding us, and in the Milky Way now, there's over 50. That's a lot. And I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that because it's a natural vacuum, and it is proven that they do suck in things, and we know nothing about a black hole. So, I mean, if it's Satan or whoever's controlling these black holes, maybe we need to pray more because more of these black holes keep coming up. And they keep coming up a lot. And when the more these black holes come up, the more bad events go on in the world. Well, let me do reading on Rob's feelings for you. And hello. I love how I always see. I don't get mad about anyone's opinions. I don't. To me, anybody could be right or everyone could be right. It could be Satan. It could be just darker versions of ourselves. That's what somebody else is saying. That when you take a wrong path and sometimes you can step into a reality from you could step into another reality. It's sometimes you can control another reality of the same situation till it's resolved. And my dog's a night stalker too. I think he slept when I slept. Alright, Rob's feelings for you in your present situation. Your immediate past, you got a wax crescent moon, and you were very hopeful in your dreams. And your present for that is you got to surrender. You got a full moon, which is pretty much you got to give all your. It's just like a surrender to the divine, which means you just got to accept what is there and what isn't there and let it kind of go through. And for your immediate future of the situation, you get a new moon in Scorpio, and that just means you're insecure and you're scared about something. I feel there's something there, but I don't know what kind of love it is. But there is some kind of love. So, I mean, it could be just like a passerby love, like an infatuatious love, but I don't know if it's going to be marriage love. I mean, that stuff usually has to evolve on its own. I don't want the bone. Oh. But anyways, getting back to these little flickers and stuff. They say that you can, when you take a wrong path, if you did something really, really bad, the quantum people are saying, all these scientists are saying sometimes when you do that, since we're energy and we die, and sometimes when we die, they think that our energy thing is so close. They think that you can jump. And some people try to jump to the past just to try to change an effect before they die. There's some people going with that theory. So, I mean, if you want to believe in it, when I do see them, they are never like malicious or anything. They're really not. They kind of give you like two things where this could happen, and then it shows that, then I see a truth of a situation. But I don't, and that, but you can never see the full outcome because it's always changing. It always, because they always are talking, and I never see like a full end because I don't think there is a full end. I just think we just go around in a circle and we live till we're meant to die. I really do. I honestly believe this because how is it that people are always, certain people are brought back, certain people are brought into certain situations? I mean, something's happening, and I do believe there's a God. As much as I believe there's darker things, I do believe there's light things too. I don't know if I want to call them full angels. I want to say light beings that are trying to do the right thing, and I believe that sometimes they have human form. I think the light beings are born in a human form. I don't think they're allowed to take over anybody's existence. It's usually a birth. Because all through history, when they just, on all through different Bibles, it's always a great religious ruler comes from a certain birth. So I believe those kinds of souls that are born into the world are from a birth. But I believe in the opposite also. If you believe in one, you got to believe that the opposite actually exists. I mean, if you want to, when I was growing up, they told me that there was no such thing as the devil or negative energy. And I said, well, how do you know if we're doing is positive if there's no negative energy? And then I've gotten a fight with a lot of priests. I have. A lot of Catholic priests told me there's no such thing as demons, but why are they doing exorcisms? I don't understand if your religion does not believe in demons, why you do exorcisms. And I even asked the priest that. They go, we don't do that anymore. I was like, well, I didn't ask if you did them no more. If you do them, you do them. You don't, you don't. I said, if there's no dark energy, then why was there exorcisms? And why do they have bones of saints in the middle of Vatican, that right where the Vatican City is in Rome? They have the bones of Saint Peter. They keep and they when they dug up the tomb of Jesus and all that, they took his bones out of that damn cave. It's in Vatican City. I was reading that Roseline and different things. Satan and demons are nothing more than angels that turned against God. And they were once angels in heaven. That makes sense. Do you think they were born into bodies, or do you think they take over bodies, or do you think they do this jumping? Because I've been hearing a lot of things from a lot of different people. I really have. And I see glimpses of things all the time. And some things I'm not supposed to see. Some things I see dark things, dark incomes and good. But I try to not give anybody my personal energy. So I guess my question is, are they able to take over bodies? All right, they were not born. They were creating God's image. Okay. Okay, so they can't take over the bodies. So all these people that, because I think it was on YouTube. Yeah, it was on YouTube, and some of these people that are killing people said they were possessed. I think that they had bad thoughts, but do you really think they were possessed? I mean, I don't know. I don't honestly. I mean, I have nothing to disprove it, but I have nothing to prove it either. I don't know if they were possessed in their own bad thoughts or actually possessed. But what's your take on that? Because I mean, I don't know these answers. I would have to be officially dead to know these answers, and I'm not, obviously. Okay, what you see when people claim to be possessed is nothing more than a person's belief that they are possessed. Oh, okay. Because I know that the church was doing a lot of exorcisms, and I actually found an exorcism ceremony that was in Old English that was translated from Latin, and it leaked out from. Would you stop, Chong? It was leaked out from Vatican City, and it was a forbidden book back in the day. And I read it, and what they do is they pray over a person, and they have a very complicated praying process, and over and over they're doing stuff, but I guess in essence they're invoking whatever's inside of that vessel to come onto him in the name of Jesus. And they say that the priests were getting possessed while they were doing this, and there was accounts on this. And I guess my question is, the priests were, did the priests turn bad because they thought that they possessed that evil? If the could possess a human had the power to remove them. So do you think that when they were doing these different kinds of stuff, and they were going around and doing their exorcism stuff, what were they really doing? Some people think that everybody was not criminally insane. That's a bad word. That they thought they were possessed, and that was the only way. And they were having psychiatric problems because a lot of people was putting the priest in jail. There was a lot of priests back in the day that were put in jail because somebody died of not eating and stuff, because they would go and say they were taking out the demon and their daughter just be dead. So, do you believe it was the priest that thought they were possessed that did this? Or the person, or vice versa? Because there was a big, humongous argument back in the day over this. And the Catholic Church somehow got these priests out of jail. And they eventually had to stop doing these exorcism ceremonies. I mean, they had to do it with medical treatment, but they don't even do them no more now. It's crazy. And I know this because I'm Catholic. They have the most turnover and most interesting dark history than anybody I've ever came across in my life. That's why every horror movie is about something with Catholic. It's crazy. But I guess all my life I believed that there was a God, but I wasn't totally believing it was their God. and the way they portrayed God, because that would be crazy. The way they have God portrayed most of the time. Sometimes they have him down as, they said, God's wrath. And they say God could be really dangerous too. I guess if you make him angry enough, anybody could, but I can't see God being angry. If anything, he would have you, whatever you do unto you would be done on, do to other people, be done unto you. I wouldn't think he would dabble in that dark stuff. But these would just be my thoughts, and priests don't like it. No one likes my dark thoughts because they say that it's blasphemy. That's what they say. And then I used to tell them I believed in science, and I believed that the flashes that I was seeing, even when I got stronger when I was older, but I would see flashes of things, and I wanted to know why and what I was seeing. And I haven't had a lot of answers in my life. But maybe it was the devil coming through showing me flashes or trying to communicate with me. I don't know. It could be. When he destroys Satan and his demons. So, do you believe that this event will happen in our lifetime, or you think it's going to be after we're dead? Because I thought God's wrath was supposed to happen with this moon, but obviously there's a lot of ugly people in the world still. I'm thinking we're in the middle of a cycle, a beginning, or the end of one. We can't be in the middle. Everything's too chaotic, the energy. I feel chaotic energy all the time, just swirling around. And I try to stay positive and keep positive. Oh, so you think it's a whole day? I thought it was supposed to be some kind of sign with this moon going over the sun. That's what I was told by many circles. And I did see uh, a dark rainbow go over the moon. I don't know if anybody else seen this. But when there's an event like this, if it was the end of the world or not, I wanted to see the good part for the bad part happen. So I was over there with my glasses, and I had a very good view, and I seen a dark rainbow. I don't know if that was protection from above or what. Now that makes sense. I actually partaked when I seen that rainbow over the moon, that maybe it's, you know, that maybe that was our protection. Maybe because it wasn't our day. Or maybe it was that dark rainbow that I seen. It was really pretty too. Oh my god, it was incredible. It was the most amazing thing I ever seen. And the craziest part about it is I didn't think I'd be able to afford to have a good seeing of it. And right at my workplace, you had the best view of it. So I got paid to see this event. I just made sure every damn resident was outside. So I told my residents that I'm going outside, and at a certain time I'm not going to be here. And they all got up and went and seen it. But I'm thinking, oh, okay. Well, then maybe it was good I seen a rainbow. I seen a dark rainbow. There was, if when you were right under, you could see it perfectly clear. It was so pretty. It circled the entire moon, the dark rainbow. It was so pretty. I thought it was better than a regular rainbow. It brought tears in my eyes. But I guess I would rather the world not be flooded because I'm not a fan of sharks and the big things in the water, they're going to eat me. So I'm glad that isn't we're not going to be completely flooded because I don't want it to be like Sharknado where all of a sudden a shark comes and eats you alive and comes out of nowhere. I don't want to deal with a lot of those sharks because they're not nice. You put them in an environment that they're not used to, they're going to get highly aggressive. So I don't think anybody wants to deal with us being so flooded that sharks are eating us up. I think at that point, blowing your own head off would be better. So at least we won't go out like a shark movie. Because I mean, ever since I seen Jaws when I was a kid, I was not trying to get eaten by a damn shark. And I really don't want to die of hypothermia either. So those are the two ways I do not want to die. There's a lot of ways I wouldn't mind dying, but that's not on the list. Maybe doing some heroic thing would be nice. That would be a nice way to die and go out in the world. Or this going to sleep would be nice. And if I already have a feeling I'm not dying till I get really old. So hospice, I guess, at that point, some rocks and all, which everybody gets before they die, some morphine, have you a nice sleep, and meet your maker. I mean, hospice is the best thing that ever happened to the world of medicine. It really helps people so well when just to relax them so they can just have a good, happy passing. I don't know, maybe I might go into and get a job at hospice. I don't know. That might be my new thing now. Maybe I'm just got to the point where I do a lot of lifting at work. A lot. Ever since COVID hit, there a lot of people can't walk. A lot of people. It took away people's ability to walk, a lot of them. And the ones that were able to walk really good have to be transferred from a wheelchair and stuff. It really took away of a lot of mobility. It was sad as hell. And some of these residents gave up and just died early because of it. So I don't know where COVID came. They say that's a some people are saying it's a plague. Some people are saying that COVID was just a natural occurrence of viruses. Either way, it was a nasty one, but somehow I got it 3 times and I was okay. That did not take me out. Out of the weird stuff. I mean, I had a polyp that was all over that surrounded my uterus and got that taken care of. Now that was a bitch. That bothered me because they had to go do a little thing, cut open stuff and all that. Get samples. No human knows where COVID came from. I don't know, maybe it came from the devil. I don't know. It was really weird how COVID kind of changed everything. Everything was kind of a little happy, and now everything is not happy no more. I mean, all of a sudden, pet prices go up. Everybody's unhappy. Things that used to happen, not happen, are going on now. And a lot of people died. A lot of people are saying it's one of the plagues from God. A lot of your Christian folks. I hear that a lot. I'm friends with everybody. It doesn't matter to me what religion you are. I respect anybody that has an opinion. And hopefully the earth still preserves. I worry about the little animals when the system gets destroyed. I hate that innocent animals always have to die because of people's negative attitudes. They have a lot of good horses that end up dying a battlefield and all that. Well, that's good. Because I guess you want to say, I feel connected more to the earth than I feel than anything. And sometimes I feel like I see flickers from the past or things from, and I think I get some of this flickers from the earth. I think it's from earth energy. I always feel the earth more with me. It's weird. That's why sometimes when I'm in certain areas, I feel like certain vibrations weird in other areas and stronger in others, and then I don't feel no vibrations in other areas. What leads me to believe that maybe something either really bad or real positive goes on in certain areas and leaves an imprint. And I feel that sometimes these are some of the hauntings that go on, is these electrical imprints that are left behind. And I think sometimes these imprints are left behind to either teach us a lesson or a warning. I'm beginning to think that it seems like it may be an answer. If the house gets rats and roaches, you destroy the house or just exterminate the pest. That makes a lot of sense. That really does. Well, maybe we'll look different when God's differ, and takes us, gets rid of us. Maybe we'll have one of those new fun forms. Maybe God will make us, I don't know, maybe we'll have four fingers or something. Or maybe we'll just get age different and all that. Maybe he'll give us a fun body the next time. Who knows? Alls I know, sometimes I just look and I get these really weird vibrations all the time, and sometimes I get really nauseating ones. When I can tell when there was a lot of bad activity in the area because it makes me nauseated out of nowhere. And I can be feeling perfectly healthy and I'll be in a certain area and I'll just get nauseated because I'm picking up some kind of residual, and it's from some bad event that never got cleansed good. And you can feel it. And it's like, God, what the hell happened here that I'm actually feeling this weird energy? Sometimes it's just a specific house that something horrible happened in. And sometimes it takes a little sage or a couple prayers or something. Sometimes it's simple as that, sometimes it's not. I mean, but it's all, you can get rid of it. But sometimes I feel when that residual's there and there was no one there to cleanse it, I feel it just it builds. Like if the next people that was in that house had a real bad horrific event where somebody got hurt or something on top of that and it still wasn't cleansed and then it happens again, I feel it gets stronger, the energy. But I could be wrong. I mean, it only makes sense that energy that is fed is going to get stronger. And if it was never neutralized, it's never going to be on the path to good for a while. And I feel that some places need a cleaning a lot. So, I mean, I haven't been to the Holocaust site, but I would think there'd be some residual left over from there. I mean, hopefully they had some holy people go over there and cleanse it and do some things, which I'm sure they have. They have groups. Mother Teresa, when the Berlin Wall was going down, was always going over there when she was alive and praying by that wall, and everybody was praying for Russia at that point in time, and it seemed to help them. The Berlin Wall came down eventually, but there was a lot of praying. Maybe they prayed by the Holocaust. I know that there was, my mom always told me they were praying by the Holocaust a lot too. And it doesn't have to be. Oh, you think that's too the same thing? Do you think God gets rid of that energy from the all those sites? Because I'm a very person that's inquisitive. I like to think of myself as inquisitive. Angel, what do you want? Go. I'm a very inquisitive person. I I see details in the world. I really do. But I believe extermination at this point with humans. I believe people could turn around a little bit. And maybe that's why we got a little bit longer of a time period. Extension, I guess, if you might say. I want to say we got an extension on our morality to give a couple more people time to turn around. I really believe that somebody can turn around if they want to. But you got to truly want to. Angel, go over there. Would you stop? Go. But I'm thinking that's why we got an extension. Because I do believe that there's some more people that probably are victims out there that they're waiting to be released before bad things happen. So that's what I would be thinking. But I don't know, I'm not God, but this is a awfully big solution for God to think of. And I don't know why they restricted that comment. They restrict that. I mean, I don't even know what it was before. So, but my phone's about ready to die. I have enjoyed this very intellectual conversation. I don't get very intellectual conversations sometimes through the day. So, but I'm going to have to charge my phone up because it was pretty low. And I appreciate with you. I also have you. You look for these details. Do you see things like me too? Because sometimes I don't think. I'm wondering how many other people see things and can see flickers. Okay, there's another message restricted. You do? Well, maybe we're down to quantum physics then. Maybe it's Satan's working through the portholes that physics is saying are time loops. That's what when I was going through some of the Stephen Hawking research and some of the new research that they're fine tuning, that's what they're coming up with. They're coming up with these are all time loops, and we have an unusual amount of black holes around us. Do you think that has anything to do with the things we're doing? Or do you think that's the way the Satan's kind of moving around? I mean, all these astrophysicists can't be wrong. Oh, okay. It's nothing like that. I mean, I don't know. I'm just telling you what actual research is coming up with. They could be wrong or right. Quantum physics is not an exact science at all. It's just intellectual thinkers, I guess. No, it's nothing like that. Satan's time is running out. That's why you see things get worse. I guess that makes sense. The darkness is going to run out eventually. Whatever gets too dark has to go to the light. So he's going to anything that's building up that's dark has to turn around or just and usually they're the brightest light. Somebody told me sometimes the darkest people turn out to be the brightest light. I heard that too before. Which I guess makes sense, but there would be a lot of repenting, I would think. I would think there would be screaming for centuries with the way some people act. But it would have to get turned around and recycled, I would think. And that whole process probably is the reason that God has to exterminate them. Because you would not voluntarily have this done. Because repenting all that stuff would be horrible. And would have a lot of trauma in your life. Especially if there's a lot of murder. That's what I'm thinking. Taking someone's life and being the reason that the life was in self-defense, I could see that would mess with you. But if you make somebody kill somebody else, I believe the sin's on the person that made them and bullied them, and the person that bullied them has to suffer along with that person. And I can't see anybody voluntarily trying to cleanse himself from that. That would be that would be exhausting. That might take lifetimes, I would think. I'm just glad I don't do these kind of activities like that because I think it would be truly horrific thing to have to live with. And I wouldn't want to live with all that. I mean, I don't know how you feel about this, but I don't know if I truly could live like that. I don't know how people do it, going around doing all these horrible things and then because I see flickers of like the good and the bad energy, and I don't know why anybody would want to pick the bad one. Because that bad event just leads you down this road like a domino that really kind of taints anybody's soul there like that. So I don't know why anybody would want to voluntarily do this. Even if you accidentally do it, you think you want to reverse it, but some people don't. So I hope that God does come and get some of these crazy people out of here. Or just make sure that or instead of take it out everybody, just takes out the bad ones. That would be nice too. If there was a way to exterminate and just take out certain people and then leave certain people alive in certain situations. You got zoomies, Chong? Okay. What's wrong? What's your issue? So this is why I don't have a coffee table. When he gets his zoomies, I just let him run back and forth. Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad that. What, Chong? What are you doing? Stop! Go, Chong, go. I'm glad he's doing it, and I'm glad he's doing it with just specific people. Because I would hate for millions of innocent people to die for just a couple people. So this does make a lot of sense. So, but I'm gonna probably do a late night stream tomorrow. But I'm gonna go ahead and get me some neat and stuff. And I had a lot of fun talking to you. I feel like I had good socialization today. And thank you for joining my stream. And I do hope to see you. What is today? Is it? I think it's technically the next day. So I'll just pop in and do a late night stream when I end up. When I wake up through the night randomly. And thank you, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow and I apologize for my phone dying, and I'll talk to you again.